way it is. But if I have a shot to see it in a movie theater, I'm going to take it.
That's completely agree, man.
So, in short, support movie theaters when things are opening back up, when things are coming out. Because even when they were open, they weren't doing great business. A big part of that was people were a little nervous, but also because a lot of the business wasn't there, and movie studios weren't releasing anything. They were relying on releasing older films to try to get people to come back to the theater.
Yeah, I remember that.
There wasn't a whole lot of new releases, and what new releases they were much smaller movies that you might not know too much about. So I fully support movie theaters 100%. If you are a film lover, support movie theaters, please. Don't just settle for watching everything at home just because you can. And speaking of movie theaters, lastly, I just wanted to give a requiem for the Ken Theater, which shut down. I think was scheduled to shut down at either the end of March or early April. And unfortunately, the pandemic hit, and it shut down much earlier than that, because I know that they were planning on playing some older films in the weeks leading up to its closure. Mm-hmm. And I know that you and I had kind of wanted to do just a special episode where we just kind of talked about the Ken.
Yeah.
Because I think that was one of the last single screen movie theaters in San Diego, if not the last.
The oldest, right?
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it closed. I saw so many great movies there. I've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on the big screen more times I've ever seen it at home. And every single time I watched it, it was at the Ken, because it was always playing at the Ken. But, I also got to see a lot of new movies that I might not have caught elsewhere, because it was owned and operated by Landmark. They used to have that great set of midnight movies.
Oh, yes. Midnight Madness. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Midnight Madness, and they would always play a lot of great flicks. Went and saw, Reservoir Dogs there at midnight a bunch of times. Got to watch, Blade Runner there a bunch of times. The Thing, the last time I saw the Thing. No, I take that back. I saw The Thing there on the Midnight Madness. The last time I saw it in the movie theater was on a repertory screening of it elsewhere during a cult movie program. But I got to watch that at the Ken as a midnight show. So it's a bummer that the place closed, and especially because it closed prematurely because of the pandemic.
Do you know why they shut down? Was it just a financial thing, or?
I believe so. I wish I had that story. That's the story I read about its closing and why it was closing back in the late winter, January, February-ish. But I believe that was the case.
Yeah. Piggybacking off what you said, I've seen tons of things there as well. The original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Evil Dead, was Skate Kitchen, tons. I think. Go ahead.
I was going to say I've got to see the Indiana Jones trilogy all down at the Ken on the big screen.
Separate times?
Yeah, separate times. I've seen them in a couple other times in theaters, but I remember watching all three of those down at the Ken, probably during their midnight movies. Mm-hmm. And the real kicker to me is I had a chance to go in late January because they were playing Wild at Heart for one of their midnight movies, and I didn't go. I was up to something else, I was going to go with Joel, with my best friend, and we were up to something else, just hanging out and everything. And by the time we kind of realized, it was like, oh shit, we're going to be late if we go now, and I hate going into a movie late. Another thing with movie theater etiquette: if you're going to show up to a movie, don't show up late. Show up on time, please. But yeah, that was probably late January that was playing, and I had the chance to go and didn't, and now I'm kick myself because that would have been the last time I could have gone.
More recently, I think I caught a midnight screening of The Warriors, midnight screening of Mandy. A few years back, I remember I went to watch it. Keep in mind what I'm about to say. This is a packed house, and it was the most bizarre experience ever. I went to see Human Centipede 2 with a bet, not knowing what to expect, and holy shit, man, that was a fun crowd for something like that.
Well, that's a movie theater experience. That's why movie theaters are important, and that's why a movie theater like the Ken was important, because it played more independent stuff, more offbeat stuff. It always had the great Midnight Madness programs. Mm-hmm. And, that's something that is gone now and is debatable as to whether and if whether it's going to come back and when. Not at the Ken, per se, but, at some other movie theater. I remember you watching Pulp Fiction on 35 millimeter.
Oh yeah, for my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was awesome. See, there's like so many. I've like lost count of the things that I've seen there. It's so intertwined. Yeah, it's sad that it went so suddenly, and I didn't. Had I known, I think the last movie that they played was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and what a treat that would have been to be able to catch that as the last film. But I didn't know about it. That's awful, and that was a movie, like one of their midnight movies, where I was thinking, I would like to go to that, and I don't know why I missed it, but it's sad that it's gone. No more unnecessary Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Room screenings. Yeah, like their Midnight Madness program included like 2 screenings each of both of those movies. Every time. It's like, oh, cool, like what are they playing this month? And it's like, 2 movies plus the Rocky Horror Picture Show and The Room. I did go see... I remember my girlfriend took me to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show experience there once. We did it once, and it's fun, but if you're trying to really enjoy the movie, it also, maybe I'm just a stickler on that type of thing, but it does kind of take away if you're trying to. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've never seen The Room. I know its reputation. I've seen pieces and parts online, and I've seen The Disaster Artist. But I've never seen The Room, and it's kind of like, cool, I would like to watch it, but I don't want to go down there to that experience where everyone else has seen it before, and they're shouting out lines, and they're throwing stuff and acting crazy and everything, because it's going to take away from me trying to watch it for the first time. Mm-hmm. And that's why I just never went. Also, I know what I forgot. So I went to, I think it was one, they showed Hobo with a Shotgun. It was just one time, like a one-off screening, and I took my sisters to see it. And I remember, I had waited to see that movie for so long, and it was awesome. Rutger Hauer's a fucking god. R.I.P. to Rutger Hauer. Yeah. Somebody that we lost within these past couple years as well. Yeah. So how was that experience? It was wild, man. I mean, I love the movie. Obviously, I have it on Blu-ray, but
I don't know why. Maybe I just didn't want to go by myself, but I can't remember why my sisters went with me and why my parents allowed that for such a crazy ass movie like that. But I'm glad I took them, and now we have those memories forever. But yeah, it was awesome. It was a great crowd. It's always a fun crowd, you know. Like the people that go down there I feel like are real movie lovers.
Yeah. And for a while they had really good management. Not to say that they didn't in the end, but I remember going to a lot of the midnight shows, probably around 08, 09. Mm-hmm. And the manager will always come out and like kind of introduce himself and, you know, kind of talk to the audience for a couple of minutes before running the movie. And he was super nice and would always like crack a couple of jokes. And that was always a fun experience. Not just the midnight movies, but seeing, you know, everything else down there.
Also, I think I saw in 2018, I got to see The Shining there.
Awesome.
Which was awesome. They always throw up it looks like the real posters.
Yeah.
For whatever they're showing. They have some kind of what looks like from its time of release that they put in the little show box.
Yeah, because when Joel and I went and watched The Road Warrior down there for a midnight movie one time, they had the original one sheet because it looked, you know, a little beat up. Mm-hmm. But it was the original one sheet. So they know somebody that has access to all the old movie posters.
Speaking of theaters that don't exist anymore, I remember when we went to see was Fight Club on 35 at the Reading. When it was
at Gaslamp, yeah.
When it was still Reading down there. Now it's what's it called? The Chinese theater?
Yeah, it's owned by the people or by the company that operates the Grauman's Chinese in Hollywood. I think it's like the Theater Box now. Mm-hmm. Down there. I've never been. Just passed by it a couple of times. Maybe I should go when things open back up.
So you haven't been able to, you haven't checked it out inside yet?
No, I have not.
I've walked the floors, pre-COVID, obviously, but, because it's like, conjoined with like a restaurant kind of, right?
Yeah, because it was a 2-story theater. Mm-hmm. And the plan was, you know, the upstairs is going to be theaters and the downstairs is going to be, you know, restaurant shops, whatever they were planning on doing with it. But it was nice talking up movies with you as always. It's was nice to be able to do the year-end show, even if it was a different format. Mm-hmm. And nice that you're still doing the show and you're still doing okay and you're still allowing me to be on.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you continuing to jump on and off, you know, at your leisure. And it's always a fun time. It's great to do this so soon, since we just did the Christmas episode. Yeah,
that's what we do usually is I do the twofer at the end of the year. And
yep.
Except next year, I think we're planning on doing like one a month.
Yeah, well, you'll be on way more consecutively this coming year, if everything goes to plan, that is, but pretty sure we'll work it out.
Well, I got to decide on a good movie to do for the month of January. From that list.
The game.
We'll see.
No.
We'll see. I think I got like a top 5 that I'll pull from, and then we'll go from there for the rest of the year.
Sounds good, dude. Thanks again for being on. Thanks everyone for listening. If you got all the way to the end of this,
I hope that you did.
Yeah, we appreciate you. We're coming very close to the end of a pretty sour year, and here's to hoping that 2021 is at least slightly better.
It's got to be, right? It cannot be any worse than this.
Knock on wood.